Well, I've often wondered if you could make these into slightly deeper shrinker stretchers. I modified this one a while back. So after getting all this video shot, I decided before I made the video I should look these up and see what's available nowadays. I've had mine for years, and you can buy this style now, just like I bought mine many years ago. But now instead of buying that, you could just buy this that's already a deep throat style. So they're out there, they're available. You could just go ahead and buy one. But if you already have this style, this is what you can do. And haven't broke it yet, so evidently it's strong enough to handle the forces that act on it. So I'm going to start working on this one, but I've got a couple of new ideas because there's some room in the back area. So what you have on the inside of this thing is right here along the front, there's a piece of casting that runs up the front, and there's a piece of a casting that runs right up the middle. So that's as far back as we can open it up, and I don't think you'd want to go any further than that because it would get really weak when you stepped on the pedal. So I'm going to open this one up, something like this along this red line right here. That way if I have a piece of sheet metal that has a bit of a bend in it, I'll be able to slide it in there and shrink it or stretch it in that area. So what I got to do now is get these snap rings out, get these pins off, and there's a spring on the end of this. It's kind of fun. I'll show you that. Snap rings off, and all we got to do is push these roll pins. Push these pins out. They come out pretty easy. Well, they did on the last one. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm lying. Yeah, see, they come out real easy when you pull them out with a pair of pliers. And there's a spring down inside of there. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. Yeah. So there's a spring down inside there that hooks on both ends. It hooks on the bottom and it hooks up on the top. Showing you how to pull that out might not be easy, but basically a pair of needle nose pliers will take a hold of this and take it out. Much easier to take out than it is to put back in. Now that all the flip them and flop them around parts are out of there, we can see where that casting goes up in the middle. And that's what I'm going to try to stay below the top end of that, because that should give me a little bit of extra strength right there so that this whole thing doesn't just snap apart. The other thing is the jaw retainer is going to have to be opened up right through here. So I'm going to put a plate on that, tack weld it here and here, just like I did on the other one over there, except for the fact that it'll be opened up more like that to give me the space I need. Welcome to Wild Ass Guess Machining. I want to put a little bit of a radius right here so that I'm not going to a sharp corner, so I'm going to do this with a hole saw. I have enough room on this side so it won't run into my straight line over here. Yeah, due to the inherent wobble of hole saws, I'm going around it, just rotating it and checking it and seeing where I'm at according to the line with the high spot of the saw. And well, I think I'm there. Let's give this a shot. Well, once the wobble got to wobbling, it looks like we're right on the line. So, yeah, that's going to work. It's getting kind of loud. Yay! One side. So I'm going to continue on through from this side at least until the pilot bit punches to the other side so I can get both sides lined up. I think that's the easiest way. Smoke! Smoke! Uh-oh, we've damaged our warning label. And we're going to have to move over a little bit to get lined back up. So there we have it. And that seemed to be a pretty good depth to do that at because I just barely touched that edge. So I took some measurements when I was partway through drilling this, and I'll post those right here. And now I'm looking at this and wondering if that little bit of extra distance on the bottom is going to be worth all the work it would take to mill all that metal out. I think what I'm going to do is just saw these out to here and call that good and not worry about that little bit extra that I could get right there. Yep, I'm going to take the easy way out. Time to fire up some of the other toys. I have a video on this bandsaw on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description and a link up here to how I built this thing. It has come in very handy. Which blade? Yep, metal blade in it. Okay. Ta-da! So I've slipped the guide for the dies back on here, and it looks like everything's going to clear nicely. I'm just going to smooth out these edges a little bit and clean it all off. Call that good. So this is my side plate for the jaw guides, jaw holder, whatever. I've got a little tiny dot in the center of this. This is an 1 1/4" hole saw. I used an 1 1/8" hole saw before. And if I center this up, I should be able to cut it out of this piece of metal. And when I'm done here, I might have something that works. Yep, should have gone with an 1 3/8" hole saw. It is just a little smaller than my template, but I think it'll work. And weld it together with some very tacky tack welds. Kind of got through into the paint there a little bit. Yep. Kind of forgot I was just supposed to do spot welds and held her a little too long and smoked them. But hey, for the most part, they're good enough. Whoops, almost forgot. I'm going to cut these out across here. And I think I'm going to start that cut before I take it apart. Ah, forgot. I changed this to a grinding wheel. I thought it had a cutoff wheel on it. Playing with the camera, not paying attention. Much better with the right disc. And then simply reassemble and enjoy. Yeah, it's not very simple to reassemble. This is very, very fun. Rotate pin so the hole lines up with the way I've got the spring. Yeah, this is, it unhooked. There's the hole. It's going in. It's hooked. All right. Something like that. Yeah, that way. The right pair of pliers for the job. Ta-da! Now I'll just get this reinstalled on my stand. I have a video on this thing, link up here and in the video description. This thing's pretty handy. Saves you having to use one hand for this and one hand to hold the metal. You can hold the metal with both hands. Use your foot, just walk it through. Got a little scrap of metal here that's already been abused beyond recognition that we can play with a little bit. Yeah, that'll reach in there a ways. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use it on right now. Don't have anything that I'm working on at the moment that needs me to get in that far to shrink or stretch something, but I like the larger opening over that one there, because if you have a little bit of curve, you're going to have some room to work. And all in all, I think it's going to work. Okay, so I lied. There's not a video on how I built this thing, but it's pretty simple. Basically, I just cut the handles off, shortened them down, welded a tab onto here so that I could get a pivot point for this rod. All the bolts in this, as you can see, are just bolts that I had laying around. I haven't gotten the right bolts yet. So this rod here just continues on down, hooks to this pivot point, and I welded in a piece of all thread and a nut tubing so that I could adjust the length of this to get the length right, so I'd get the height of the pedal right. And then it has a return spring hook to it so that it'll pick the pedal back up. Like I said, I just kind of made the dimensions about what I thought I wanted, and it's worked out pretty good for me. Again, all the parts are just scraps from a couple of old weight benches and what used to be an outdoor swing set.